Hi, this is Debbie from Project 39, and this is the box of the month from Not Too Shabby. Actually, this is just part of it. There is another section included in the box of the month, but I want to show you what I made using the Meet Me at the Theater clear stamps, ephemera die cuts, and the 6x6 paper pad that has the Meet Me at the Theater theme. I made this little mini album, and it doesn't have a spine or a hinge, and it's easy to make, and it's got places for you to put in some coupons that you can give for Valentine's Day, for a birthday, teacher gifts. So there's just 4 pages in this little mini album, and there's pockets that you can tuck in the homemade coupons, or you could put in gift cards for movie theaters or tokens for popcorn or something like that. You can even use some of that ephemera die cuts as a tuck spot and add in a coupon and possibly a gift card. So yeah, if I glued that differently, you could fit that little coupon behind there. So it's a real simple book to make. And in this last page, I show you how I cut that little couch, little chair, so you can actually put a gift card in there. I have a fast food gift card that was in my stash that I am using because I didn't have a movie theater one. But in any case, there are lots of fun things you could do with this book, and I am going to show you how to make it. But real quick, I'm going to show you what comes in the box of the month from Not Too Shabby. Of course, you get the Meet Me at the Theater collection that I already showed you, the 6x6 paper pad, the ephemera die cuts, and the stamps. And then there's also the Meet Me in Wonderland part of the collection. So there is this adorable 6x6 paper pad. I'm going to be digging in and making another project with this one. That'll be so much fun. So love the graphics, love the colors on here. So much fun and so many great ideas and things to do with that. And besides the paper pad, you also get 2 sets of clear stamps. Again, really super cute images on them. Love the girls. Love the Cheshire Cat. Even that heart is cute. That says Unbirthday. So lots of things to do, and I'm sure if you go to the Not Too Shabby channel, you see some projects made with it. And then here is the words that will make some really cool cards or other projects with it. So again, stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you see the fun things that I do with that. There is also the ephemera die cut package that comes with it. Obviously there's some cards, there's some flowers, there's that cute little dress, a cupcake, I think that says Eat Me on there. Of course, you have to have the stopwatch, the key. So there's all sorts of fun things in the ephemera die cut package. And I'm going to show you in a little more detail what comes at the Meet Me at the Theater paper. So there is movie glasses, popcorn. There's a couple of plain sheets. That one has the red glitter, which really works well, especially for this project or if you're making mini albums. It's nice to have the papers that don't have any designs on them, which are on the back of the papers that do have designs. But it all works together. And of course, we have these adorable stamp sets. We've got the I Love You More Than Buttered Popcorn. There is a boy and girl movie night. There's the popcorn machine, big popcorn. One that says pop. And then there's the die cut ephemera, so I will show you that real quick. Okay, so now we're going to make that movie coupon book. And to do this, we're going to be using black chipboard. So we save the step of actually covering the covers. And instead of having a hinge, which if you've ever seen anyone make a mini album, you know that can be labor intensive and hard to get if it's your first time. So we're going to sort of cheat and do it without a hinge. All right, so as you can see, you'll need 2 pieces of black chipboard that's 4 inches by 5 inches, and one piece that's 1 1/4 by 4. I also have some black cardstock that's 65 pounds, and it's 4 inches by 8 1/2. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of the black chipboard and just lay it on my cardstock and fold the cardstock. I want to get some lines in the cardstock so I can use that to decide exactly where I'm going to put my other pieces. So just fold it, and I do have a bone folder to burnish. If you have one, that makes it easier. I'm going to fold it the other way. So now I've already put some clear permanent double-sided adhesive on the back of the 1 1/4 by 4 piece. And I'm going to take off the backing paper and lay this in the center of that 8 1/2 by 4 inch piece. So it's just going to sit there. I'm using those lines to help determine exactly how to set it on there and make it straight. And then I'm going to put some double-sided adhesive, just a 1 inch strip on the black chipboard. And I'm going to lay that next to that 1 1/4 inch piece, but I've taken some scrap and I'm going to butt it up against the other chipboard so there's a little bit of a space in between, and it's a consistent space. It's not thick at the top or thin at the top. And I'm going to do that with the second piece, but then at this point I realized probably should add some glue. So I'm going to add some glue next to where that double-sided adhesive is. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get those 2 pieces of scrap chipboard, put it up next to that 1 1/4 inch piece, and then butt this up next to that. And I'm staying on the lines, those fold lines that I had made. And I'm going to just add a little bit of glue right into that little spot. Okay, so we've got the chipboard attached onto that 8 by 4 inch piece. I'm doing a little bit of cleanup. And then what I'm going to be doing is folding over that top piece and bottom piece. So I'm going to add some more liquid adhesive onto where the spine piece is and the 2 cover pieces. And just using my hands, and then I'll grab my bone folder. We're going to push that down, burnish it, add a little bit of glue to that bottom or the top of that cardstock. And there we go. So now what I've done is got the 2 pieces of chipboard, the little hinge piece, and the cardstock to join it all together. And we're going to fold at where that gap is. I'm using my bone folder to push down. It's a real blunt tip. Don't use something that's sharp. Use something with a blunt tip. And then by having that space, that allows the cover to move a little bit. And I'm going to work it just a little bit more to make sure it'll fold easy. Now what we're going to do at this point is grab 4 pieces of cardstock, and I'm using a heavyweight cardstock. It's 110 pound, and it's 5 1/4 by 3 3/4, and we'll need 4 of those. I am grabbing my combination paper trimmer and scoring tool. I do have a scoreboard, but I'm showing you how to use this real easy. And I'm just scoring 1/2 inch on one of those short sides for all 4 pieces of this cardstock. You could use if you have lighter weight cardstock, but I find this heavy weight cardstock works real well. Maybe even glue 2 pieces of regular cardstock together. I haven't tried it, but I don't see why that wouldn't work. So anyhow, we've got those, and those are going to be the pages. So I'm going to grab my bone folder and fold on the score line and burnish real well. I'm going to be working it. I don't know if I show it all on camera, but I'm going back and forth on that score line so I know the pages will go back and forth real easy. So after I've gotten them all folded and burnished, I grab 1/4 inch score tape. Now that's a 1/2 inch tab that we've folded. So a 1/4 inch score tape is going to go on there. I don't go from end to end. You see, it sort of keep it in the middle of that little 1/2 inch tab. But I will put that on all 4 pieces. And then it's real important to take your bone folder or some blunt instrument if you don't have a bone folder and burnish that double-sided adhesive real well. It helps it stick, and it also helps the backing paper come off much easier. So make sure you spend the appropriate amount of time to work it. So now I'm going to take my pages and peel off the backing paper, and I'm going to supplement this with liquid adhesive. I like to use 2 adhesives when it comes to putting something in a book. It just seems to help it hold a little better. I'm folding that tab up and putting it real close to that fold line, but not right on the fold line. It's probably a 1/16 of an inch away. And I will burnish that real well so that glue sticks, and so does the clear double-sided adhesive. Now I'm going to go to the right-hand side and do the same thing. Add some double-sided, peel off the backing of the double-sided adhesive and add some liquid adhesive and put it down again right next to where that fold line is for the back cover. Try to get it as straight as possible. You can't see it because the paper's in the way, but I'm using the other page just to make sure it's even top to bottom. And then we'll take the next one and again add liquid adhesive. And that's going to go on top of the first piece we put, but about a 3/8 of an inch away from the fold line on that. So you'll have 4 pages in this book, and they will be somewhat spaced evenly. The 2 middle pages will have more of a space because of that 1/2 inch tab. They'll be a 1/2 an inch away from each other. And I use that, so I open the page, push that tab next to the first one. Make sure the page will still open. So see, I've covered up that other page, and now the pages will open and close easily. I'll take my bone folder and just burnish real well on the fold lines, just to make sure that they do open up nicely. And so there we've got a quick book. We didn't need a hinge and we didn't cover the cover. Now I've taken some of the decorative paper and cut it just a smidgen below the size of the cover. So I've actually cut 4, and they're 3 7/8 by 4 7/8. So it just allows about a 1/16 of an inch border of the black cardstock to show. So again, I did 4 of those, and I am just going to glue them down on the front inside cover, the back inside cover, the front cover, and the back cover. And then I'm going to cut a piece that's about 1 3/16 by 3 7/8 for the spine. Okay, fabulous. Now let's cover the inside pages. I wrote this down, and let me show you what we need to cut. You'll be cutting 4 that are 4 5/8 by 3 5/8, and those I kept fairly plain. I used the side of the paper that didn't have much decoration on it. And then I cut 4 that are 4 5/8 by 4 5/8. We're going to score on the bottom at 1 inch. So make sure you have the orientation correct and score at the bottom of those 4 square pieces. All right, so here you're going to see me grabbing that pattern paper and putting it in that trimmer and scorer, and scoring at 1 inch on the bottom. Okay, easy schmeezy. Now we're going to just fold up at the bottom and use my bone folder and burnish a little bit and add these folded pieces to the front of all of those pages. To make the pocket on these pages, we're simply going to take some liquid adhesive and add just a little bit to those sides of that little pocket. Hold it in place till it dries. I'm going to burnish that glue down, and that's all there is to those pages. So you'll add the pockets to the front of the pages and then the smaller pieces to the backs of the pages. And I try to coordinate that so the two pages look good together. After I get the pages glued in, then I'll cut some real small strips just to put on in between the pages. You'll see some red strips I put in. They're less than 1/4 of an inch because they have to be smaller than that little gap. So you just have to size it yourself and see exactly how big you need it to be. But I just feel like it fills it in a little bit and there's not all that negative black space. So that really is all there is to making the book. I mean, that was pretty easy, right? All right, now I'm going to stamp. So I'm picking out the popcorn cart. I've already put it on my stamping platform. I'm using some ink that works with alcohol markers. And obviously I'm just going to stamp it on there. And then I will move on to the next one. So there's this little string of popcorn garland. So I'm going to put it down on my paper and position it. And then I'll go ahead and ink it. And then I'm going to slowly move it across the paper to make a garland of the popcorn. Takes a little bit of delicate touching and positioning and making sure that it is exactly where it needs to be. Of course, I have to clean it off in between placing it on the platform real well. So I just try to touch where that last line was. And there we go. And then I go and make the garland. I'll ink it and then there'll be that popcorn garland. It takes a little bit of maneuvering, but after I get the popcorn garland, then I'm going to do a final stamp, and I'm going to stamp movie night, and I'm going to use some Versamark ink and use a red glitter embossing powder I have in my stash, and that's going to make the title of my little mini album, coupon book, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Then I'm going to grab my alcohol ink markers and do the world's fastest coloring job. Really, there's not a lot of detail in this. I'm just using some basic colors to match with the paper. I love that popcorn cart. I love the popcorn. And I'm just going to color it all to get it ready to add to the cover of the book. And the final thing to do is to take a small pair of scissors and cut around the elements that I have colored. And last but not least, and the most fun in my mind, is to decorate everything. So I'm going to decorate the cover with the elements that I stamped and cut. I have just a rectangular piece of that blue glitter paper just to help add some interest to the cover. Otherwise it's just sort of red and boring. And I put that on and add the stamped pieces and then go through the book and add some of the die cuts to the pages. And I want to show you what I did with this cozy chair. That red one, I take my craft knife and following the lines on the chair, I follow down, I guess I go about a ½ an inch from that cushion up, that arm piece. Don't go all the way, you don't want to open it up. And that makes a little spot that you can add your gift card. So I'll glue the top of it and then just a smidgen of glue on the bottom and put that on the page. I'm going to add the cute little gal to sit on the couch, but she's really there to help hold the gift card. And then you see it'll tuck right in and make a good spot to add a gift card. Now you could just use a handmade coupon if you wanted to. I hope you enjoyed this project. Please put down in the comments if you're going to make something like this, who would you give it to? Don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous day.